Welcome to another episode of the K&A Football Podcast. Today we're going to be, it's already week 9. Today we're going to be covering our picks for the week 9 games, as well as, for the picks, we're going to go over all the crazy trades that happened right at the trade deadline. It should be a good time. As always, our picks are guaranteed to be 100% correct. No questions asked. We hope you enjoy another episode of the K&A Football Podcast. All right, Caden, before we jump into our picks for this week, which, like I mentioned before, always 100% correct.
Right. Just look at our records.
Right. I mean, me more than you, especially in that correctness category.
For sure.
Yeah. Before that, obviously, last Tuesday was the trade deadline, which means that, for a normal NFL season, maybe you get a couple no-name guys that go some random places. No big deal, really. Maybe you get one big name. Really, the biggest trades happen during the offseason. In other leagues, like the NBA, you'll see a bunch of trades go on right at the trade deadline. Like, everyone will swap jerseys. And that's how it goes in those other leagues, but not the NFL. The NFL is a more low-key trade kind of league. They don't do a bunch of trades. This year was the most trades that has, ever happened.
Yeah. I think that's what makes the NFL so, I guess, more fun to watch than those, because you have your players, your good players, for majority of their career, but then you get to the NBA and they're on your team for a year and then boom, they get traded. In NBA players have to rent their apartments. They can't really buy a house because they know they're probably just going to get traded that next year anyway.
Right.
So NFL players, you have your franchise guys for majority of their career, and you get to watch them and root for them. You don't have to buy a new jersey and switch to rooting for new players every year. So I like it, but I do also like a lot of trades and craziness. So it was a lot of fun on Tuesday.
For sure. So I think you have the list.
I do. So the first trade, there was a trade that happened on Monday, and it was Roquan Smith was traded to the to the Ravens.
Yes.
He was traded just for a bunch of picks. I think it was a great trade for the Ravens.
I think it was a great trade for the Bears, too. Because Roquan Smith already wanted out. He wanted out at the beginning of this year. So you knew that he wasn't going, if he didn't get traded, he wasn't going to sign any more contracts. He was going to let his run out, and he was going to be a free agent, get out of there as soon as humanly possible, and they were going to get nothing.
Yeah. What's crazy is, he asked for a trade in the offseason, and then once he was traded, they interviewed him. He goes, I never thought I was going to get traded. And I'm like, bro, you just asked for a trade. What are you talking about? But
that's real faith in the organization there.
But good trade for both teams. The Ravens improve a lot on defense, getting a very great linebacker.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and then the Bears, they're just going to continue. Justin Fields has gotten a lot better just in this season alone. Their offense has kind of come to life now.
Yeah.
But now their defense is really going to struggle a lot more than it even has. And speaking of the Bears' offense, they traded for a wide receiver. I mean, you can think he's great. You can think he's not great. I mean, he's better than what they had.
That's true.
The Bears traded a second-round pick for Chase Claypool from the Steelers.
Yeah. It's not the worst pick that could have happened. Not the worst trade. I don't think Chase Claypool is that fantastic. He kind of hyped himself up.
He did.
He was like, oh, I'm whatever he said,
top three.
Top three?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's not top 3 by any stretch of the imagination. It'd be tough to break top 20 for him. But regardless, it's an upgrade for the Bears, obviously. Hopefully, Chase Claypool's obviously really big. He moves pretty well. So hopefully he can incorporate well into their offense and do a lot for them.
Yeah, I mean, in the Steelers got a second-round pick out of it, which is a lot more than I thought they'd get for Claypool.
For sure.
I mean, they got as much for him as I think the Raiders got for Devontae Adams.
That's a little ridiculous.
It is. Or the Packers got for Devontae Adams. Yeah. And then, in my opinion, one of the bigger trades of the day, TJ Hawkinson going from the Lions to the Vikings for just a bunch of picks.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. Why you would trade? Like he's been performing pretty well.
He's like their franchise tight end, and he was a superstar.
He's fantastic. And the Lions were like, "Oh, we'll just trade him to an in-division rival." First off, that's like rule number 1: don't trade to someone in your division because that person's going to come to hurt you later.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't get that.
Yeah, that made zero sense.
The Lions are struggling already. Why would you get rid of one of the biggest pieces to your offense, other than Amon-Ra St. Brown? He's like the rest of the offense.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I think this really completes the Vikings offense. They already got Justin Jefferson, who we know is like one of the best in the league. Dalvin Cook, another superstar running back. They got good like other receivers around him. They got Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
I mean, they got him. And then they had Irv Smith at tight end, who was sustainable, but now he's hurt for 8 to 10 weeks. And now they're like, oh, let's just go trade for a superstar tight end now. So now I really think that their offense is like complete. Like it's not as good as like the 49ers offense, but I think it's up there as one of the better offenses in the league. I think Kirk Cousins is a lot better quarterback than what some people think. I think he's very sustainable and he can win them games and get them far in the playoffs, but I really like the move for the Vikings, and I think their offense is going to look really good.
I agree. It's going to be very complimentary.
Mm-hmm. Another trade, this one we don't need to spend as much time on, but William Jackson, who was a corner for Washington, got traded to the Steelers. I mean, they said that they were going to cut him if they couldn't find a trade partner for him, and he's super old. So I really don't know why the Steelers trade for him if they're clearly like a young team that's trying to like build up to that, like getting back to form, and you go trade for an old guy who will probably only be there for 2 or 3 more years. Didn't make much sense to me, and he was going to get cut anyway, so you just kind of threw away some picks. But
no matter, whatever. They thought that was the right trade. It's obviously not that big of a deal. He's obviously not a guy that you talk about a whole bunch. So
yeah, I mean, there's a reason we're not NFL GMs, and that's why they're getting paid millions of dollars to do that. They know something that we don't. I mean. And then another big trade was Bradley Chubb.
Yes.
Superstar linebacker from the Broncos. And he got traded to the Dolphins for, I mean, there was a lot in this trade. It was Bradley Chubb was going to the Dolphins for a first-round pick and Chase Edmonds, who's not a very great running back. He was supposed to be the starter this year, and he's just really underperformed. But
the Dolphins kind of just keep on trading everything away and just keep getting superstars. They got Waddle, Hill, Chubb now. Like, it's all because of that trade with the 49ers.
Yeah, the 49ers trade, like when the 49ers traded up to number 3 to draft Trey Lance, all the picks they got from that draft turned into Bradley Chubb, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle. You're right.
Yeah.
Insane. That is good GM right there.
Yeah, GM deserves a raise for that one.
But I think the Dolphins, I mean, they're already incredible. Their offense is out of this world, and Chase Edmonds wasn't even a part of that, so I don't think it loses any. Yeah. And their defense is also phenomenal, but now getting someone like Bradley Chubb, who is a superstar linebacker, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, Denver's got a thing for turning out good edge rushers, so yeah, that's fine. This is not Von Miller, but he'll do just fine, I guess.
Yeah. The Broncos, I mean, they had all these expectations going into the year, and now it's like, I mean, you're trading away one of your best defensive players. Like, are you giving up, Like,
yeah, it kind of looks that way a little bit. I mean, they got a bunch of picks, so when you trade away good people for picks, that kind of signals to me that you're looking more towards the draft than you are the rest of the year.
You're going to start rebuilding around like a 37-year-old quarterback.
Yeah,
good idea, that's how you start a rebuild. And then we just talked about Chase Edmonds to the Broncos. Oh, and then another trade for the Dolphins. They were very active at the trade deadline. They got Jeff Wilson from the 49ers, who was playing very well as a starter this season, but then obviously Christian McCaffrey going to the Niners. And now he was like, well, crap, I'm not going to play now. And he got traded to the Dolphins, he's a very solid running back.
Yeah, I mean, Dolphins kind of won the trade deadline, if you ask me. Obviously, they got 2 pretty good players for giving away some picks. Like, that's not bad.
I mean, their offense is already phenomenal, but
yeah.
And then this one was really a shocker. I completely forgot this guy was in the league.
I know what you're gonna say.
I
got the notification.
Yes, I was at work, and I looked down and I was like, oh my. And I was like, he's still in the NFL. Calvin Ridley got traded to the Jaguars.
Yes. The irony is so thick.
It's so funny.
Cut it with a knife. So Calvin Ridley, last season, he is, gambling a little bit. He's having some fun with the money that he's making. Okay, and he bets against the Jags. He bets for the Atlanta Falcons to beat the Jags in a game that he wasn't even playing in, and it was like $1,000 bet or something. Pocket change for guys like him. Okay. Obviously, then the league finds out about this and they suspend him. Then he gets traded to the Jags. It's hilarious. I love it.
Oh, I mean, I love it too. I think it's a great move for the Jaguars. I mean, obviously he won't play for them this year.
Right.
But next year, Trevor Lawrence will have a number one receiver, someone who's made a name for himself. He's a solid receiver. And they didn't give up much for him. I mean, they're obviously not going to play. They're not playing well this year, and they'll have a higher pick. So they use that pick on, I don't know where they use it, but they use that pick somewhere.
On any of their positions.
Right. Except for quarterback. Oh, yeah, even quarterback. And now they have that number one receiver locked in, and they're like, okay, we got him, his guy.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good move for them. And I mean, the Falcons, I mean, he wasn't playing for them this year anyway. Right. And they got some picks out of him. I mean,
and they've been playing pretty well. So
they have.
You don't really need him. You don't need him.
Yeah. And then due to time, we'll just keep it to the more notable trades. I mean, Jacob Martin got traded to the Broncos. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah.
Rashad Fenton got traded to the Falcons. Okay.
Again, if you struggle with his last name, you probably don't know who he is.
And then Dean Marlowe got traded to the Bills. I mean, good for them.
Good for them. Only their moms know that they're in the league. So
yeah. And then not one more. Naeem Hines got traded to the Bills.
That's a name I recognize.
Yeah, he's a solid running back. He was the Colts' backup running back. Obviously playing behind Jonathan Taylor, so he's not going to play much.
Except for now.
Yeah, he was playing very well when he did play, and now he's going to the Bills, who don't really have that staying number one running back. And with the Bills' offense, he can explode.
Right. I mean, the Bills wanted to get Christian McCaffrey. They were looking at Alvin Kamara. So it's very clear that they wanted a running back that can help him out a little bit more, and they got it.
Mm-hmm.
So good for them.
I mean, it's no Christian McCaffrey or Alvin Kamara, but it's doable.
It's decent, yeah. I think one more that you forgot there was the Packers forgot that the trade deadline was this last Tuesday. The Packers did literally nothing, which it's not surprising, but it's disappointing. It's like, I'm not surprised that you guys sucked again and you messed this up again, but like, come on.
Hey, they're just waiting to sign AB, or not AB, OBJ. They're just waiting to sign OBJ.
Sure.
They're just waiting to sign him.
I don't know. I keep seeing a lot of things that he might go to the Bills.
I do too. That offense doesn't need to get any better, but hey,
they don't.
I'm all for it.
He's chasing as many Super Bowls as he can before he can retire. Oh, I saw also he was looking to go to New York again.
I did. That would be awesome.
So cool.
That would be awesome.
All right. Anyways,
those were all the crazy trades that happened on Tuesday.
Let's jump into our picks for this week. Oh, I guess we recap this one.
Oh, yeah. This was Monday night last week.
It was Monday night. Dude, this game was next level. Obviously, I walked into this game, had no expectations to win. I wanted us to win. I felt it in my heart. I wanted it, but I didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, they surprised me.
And now, 32-13. Now, to be completely fair, they did not have Jamar Chase, and they won't have him for a couple more weeks. So, I mean, obviously, that takes a lot of pressure off of the Browns defense that has already been struggling. You don't have to guard Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, which is a tall task. Mm-hmm. Those are two number one receivers on any other team. So that obviously took a lot of pressure off of us. We're obviously really shot at corner and safety and linebacker, where defense is really struggling. But for some reason, they played out of their minds this week.
I do think this is also, I mean, I'm not taking anything away, but I think it's really similar to the Niners and Rams, how no matter how the teams are playing that season, they will all, the Niners will always beat the Rams. I feel like this is the Bengals cannot beat the Browns. Joe Burrow has never beat the Browns, and the Browns just have the answer for that team. Sure, they can suck every other game. The Bengals can be incredible every other game. But when these two teams play, the Browns have the answer for them. But
I can agree with that. And I'm okay with that, too. If we win the Battle of Ohio every single year, twice a year, I can live with that.
Yeah.
Obviously, 32-13. Just want to rub that in any Bengals faces. Jacoby Brissett looked like absolute Superman out there. You know, no big deal.
Thursday night's game was a lot closer than we expected.
Significantly closer.
I mean, it was 29-17. Eagles beat the Texans. Sure, it might not look close, but looking at the two teams, you would think it would be 50-0. We put a poll up on our Instagram that was like, will the Texans lose by less than 50? Yes or no? And a lot of the answers were no. I mean, obviously, it's a little exaggerated, but I don't think anyone expected this. The Texans' defense played very well.
They played very well. Their defensive line put pressure on Jalen Hurts almost every single play. I don't think there was a play where Jalen Hurts got to sit back in the pocket, go through all of his progressions, and make a good throw.
And the Eagles have a good line.
They do. So, full credit to the Texans' defensive line on that one. Really put the pressure on him, forced him to make some throws that he missed or that were a little off. So, very well done, Texans. You performed better than we thought you would. Eagles still 8-0 though, still undefeated.
And looking ahead of their schedule, they have a very legit shot at going undefeated. I mean, obviously that's why you play the games. Any given week they could lose, but
obviously, I mean, we thought they were going to lose by 50.
Yeah,
but it's closer than it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's jump into our picks.
This week's K&A Pick'ems.
All right.
Before we do go in, we're going to have, to whoever's listening or watching, we'll have to condense the talking about the games down a little bit because we talked about the trades and then stuff like that. So it won't be as in-depth and long as last time, but we'll still get the gist of it.
Yeah. So this first game is Colts at Patriots. I'm really struggling to get out of my mind that the Colts are supposed to be good.
Mm-hmm.
That keeps sitting in the back of my mind whenever I see them play someone. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll pick the Colts. And then I remember, oh, wait, they're like the worst. Obviously, they now have their Sam Ehlinger at quarterback. Jonathan Taylor won't be playing, and now their backup running back just got traded away. So who do they play? We don't know. So I got to go Patriots.
Yeah, I want to pick the Colts. I think that Sam Ehlinger is a decent quarterback, and obviously Jonathan Taylor is great, but the thing is he's not playing. And they don't have Hines to back him up because he just got traded. I don't think the Patriots team's good, but they're doing enough to win games. They smoked the Jets last week, who were 5-2 or 6-2. But so kind of by default, I'm gonna have to pick the Patriots as well. Yeah. Mac Jones isn't looking good, but they got fortunate going up against the Colts right now.
Yeah.
So.
Is it Ehlinger or Ehlinger?
Ehlinger. Yeah.
Okay.
Sam
I'll fix
Ehlinger.
that probably. Maybe not.
It doesn't matter. This is probably his only year. No one will remember him in 3 years.
Well, we thought of that for Heineke, and here he is.
Oh,
back
that's
again.
true.
All right, Caden, I'll leave the reins to this one.
This is a very tough game for me to pick. On one hand, you got the Packers who have struggled, like we've talked about many times. No. And then we got the Lions who we had expectations for, but then just kind of did not work. They just haven't done anything. So, it's a toss-up because the Packers have owned the Lions for so long. The Lions did just trade away their tight end. I'm going to pick the Packers. The Packers really showed promise for me last week against the Bills. They played a lot closer game than we thought it was going to be. They were running. I feel like if they can just learn, we have two really good running backs, let's run the ball, they can win this game. The Lions have a terrible defense. So I think that the Packers will do enough to win the game. But I think it could go either way.
Yeah, I agree with you. Obviously, the Lions' offense was really explosive in the first couple weeks, kind of fell off the map after that, and now they don't have that superstar tight end. And like you said, the Packers ran the ball a lot more against the Bills, which obviously brought that game within 10 points, which no one would have expected. So I'm going to have to go Packers as well. Not because I think the Packers will play well. I think the Lions will just play worse.
For sure. This game is also tough for me. We got Chargers at Atlanta, and the Chargers have really unimpressed this season, and the Falcons have impressed. not in crazy fashion, but they're winning the NFC South and they're playing pretty good. Personally, I think that Justin Herbert has been dealing with that injury still, and he needed some time to heal. And then coming off that bye week, I think he is healed and he'll play a lot better and he'll show it against a very bad Falcons defense. So I think the Chargers will get the win pretty soundly. I think Justin Herbert is a great quarterback and he's really been dealing with injury, and that's what's been holding them back. Sure, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are both out, but I think that they can do enough to beat the Falcons.
Yeah. For me, this game is closer in my mind than Chargers will beat them soundly. I think the Falcons have overperformed. And first off, what anyone would have thought. And second off, they've beat, I think are they 3-5 now? 3-6, maybe 4.
The Falcons are 4-4.
They're 4-4. Oh, that's right. I'm so sorry. 4-4. So they've beat a couple of teams that I would have never expected them to beat. And they've lost a couple very close games. So for me, with the Falcons overperforming, and I also need to get my pick ratio up, I'm going to go Falcons as like a shot in the dark kind of thing. For me, this game's pretty close. And I'm going to take Falcons.
Sure.
Why not? Yeah, so by 50.
We got Bills and Jets. I mean, you can say what you want.
Yeah, I'm going to go by 50. Sorry, Jets. I know that I was riding high on the Jets. Unfortunately, what goes up must come down. It's true with the Jet. It's true with Zach Wilson. He was very high. He was playing really well. And then last week against the Patriots, he just decided to self-implode through like every pick imaginable and then couldn't even throw the ball away. So those are all really bad looks. I'm going to go Bills, obviously. The Bills are one of those teams where it's like, I don't know if I can ever pick them to lose unless they're playing the Chiefs or Eagles. And then maybe we can have a conversation about that. So I'm going to take Bills.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking the Bills too, obviously. But the Jets' philosophy on offense is like just run the ball, take a long time, keep the other offense off the field, and then just play good defense. Like that's kind of how it's been all year for them. I mean, obviously they aren't going to play good enough defense to stop the Bills, and they're not going to run it enough to beat the Bills. But I think that they'll have the ball long enough to like keep the Bills from scoring an excessive amount of points. Like I think the Bills will run away with it, but I think the score will be a lot closer than the game. Like it's going to feel like it's like 1,000-0, but it's like, oh, they're only up by 12, you know?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Bills will run away with this one, but win by a not crazy amount, if that makes sense.
Interesting. I'll let you take this one.
Do you not know who you're picking or something?
No, I know who I'm
Oh, okay. I was about to say Vikings and Washington. Heineke is magic, and he is 2-0 as a starter now this season. He's played really good. He's given them a spark. And then you got the Vikings. Goodness. You got the Vikings who just traded for Hawkinson. Mm-hmm. They got Jefferson. They got their incredible offense that I already talked about. I don't see that a way that Washington wins this. I think that they can make it close because Heineke he's got that magic and spark in him, sort of. Like a very, very miniature version of Mahomes. But
very, very miniature.
Very, very miniature. Like Mahomes is here, and then Heineke's somewhere down here. But I think the Vikings offense is too good to like just stop, I guess. And they're 6-1. They're gonna keep playing bad teams and get that record up. But
yeah, I agree. As much as I'd like the football team to win, you know, I kind of like Heineke a little bit.
No, I like Heineke. He's like
kind of cool.
He's that guy. He's just like, I'm not supposed to play. I'm not even supposed to be in the league, and here I am, and I'm like hyping up my team, and they were trash, and now look at me.
Yeah, I just won 2 games in a row.
Right.
Look at me. I'm kind of cool.
And he gets super like emotional. Like he screams and yells, and
fun to watch.
It is fun. And there's been talks about Chase Young coming back this game.
That'd be super cool.
But I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Yeah, who knows? He's been kind of injury prone these last couple seasons. But that's fine. I'm sorry, Caden.
What?
Well, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't be sorry.
We got Panthers at Bengals. For me, the Panthers' offense was unwatchable the first 6-7 weeks of the season. And since PJ Walker stepped in, they've really looked good on offense. And sure, they didn't win last week. They should have. They didn't win, but it's still so much fun to watch because they can actually score. It's not like you don't get the ball and you're like, well, how many plays until we punt?
Right.
Now it's like we might score. This is exciting.
Yeah, Caden, for most other fans of every other franchise, that's how we feel most of the time. Where it's like, oh, we might score in this drive. I'm glad that you finally get
right. No, because finally PJ Walker was like, oh, here, I'm gonna make this team an offense. And Steve Wilkes, give credit to him. He's completely transformed the team, and they look like a team. They're not playing to tank; they're playing to win games. And Cincinnati looked really lost last week without Jamar Chase. I will say that. Sure, they played the Browns, who they just can't manage to beat, but they looked really lost without him. And it makes me sure, obviously the Bengals are favored and they're the better team, but if we play like how we played last week and the Bengals have played like how they played, we'll run away with this one. I mean, they have an awful run defense, and our run game has been phenomenal the last 2 weeks. D'Onta Foreman is him. And, I mean, yeah, you can... Sure, the Bengals can win this one. I see. I mean, if you had to tell me to put money on this game, I'd probably pick the Bengals. But I just can't root against my team.
Hey, did you hear that? He took my line.
Yeah, I
from
did.
Last week
I
to
did.
try to summon the magic.
The exact same team. If I was betting, I would pick the Bengals.
We don't condone betting, by the way.
No, mom and dad, please no. They get really mad whenever I bring something up about that. But yeah, I'm not gonna pick against my team. I know in the beginning of the year, I was like, I'm not picking them the rest of the season. But that was when they had Matt Rule. And Steve Wilkes has really transformed the team, and they look like an offense, and they look like a team. They might not win, but there's a very good chance they do, too. And I feel like, in my heart, they got this. And I'm going to root for them, and I'm going to pick them. Panthers. Yeah.
I thought you were going to, a Panthers Nation, let's ride.
Keep pounding. No, that's their thing, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were going to do something like that. That's what it sounded like. To be completely honest with you here, I was just going to pick whoever you didn't pick in this game because, like you said, do I think the Bengals are the better team? Yeah, I do. So I can see them winning for sure. And so if you picked Bengals, I would have been like, it means I have to pick Panthers. But I wouldn't have been upset with that, seeing as how they've played these last couple weeks, where it's way beyond expectations. They've been putting up crazy yards in the run game and the pass game. So. And obviously, not having Jamar Chase is going to really help you guys out.
I mean, like you said, you don't got to guard Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Now you just guard T. Higgins.
Right, you're
good.
You don't have to double up on Jamar Chase, which leaves T. Higgins one-on-one all the time.
Exactly.
So, I was just going to pick whoever you didn't pick, so I got to go Bengals now. I think Bengals take this, even though I don't want them to win. I think they'll win.
You'll be rooting for me?
I'll be rooting
for
the Panthers.
Come over to my house, bro. The game's on for Ohio. The game's on... Oh, okay. The game's on Fox National TV in Ohio. So if you turn the game on Fox or CBS, I don't know what it is, you'll see it.
What time's the game?
1.
1 o'clock game? Hey, the Browns don't play this week. So.
Yeah.
After church, we all go watch it.
Oh, I don't know if I want you guys with me.
No, yeah.
Little anecdote. Actually, I don't know if I want to say that. I got very mad at the Panthers game last week, and I had a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for?
Rage.
A fit of rage.
Bit of rage, yeah. I just couldn't control myself, I guess. And I don't have rage issues before anyone says. I don't
That's
need to.
Not true.
But I was a little bit upset, and a couple things led to another, and now there's a hole in our wall by our living room. But yeah,
Caden's phone-shaped hole.
But it's okay.
But we don't talk about that.
That's why I don't feel like anybody should watch the game with me, because I don't know what I would do. But next game.
Put us through the wall.
Facts. Next game.
Moving on to get back to that.
Raiders, Jags. 2 very depressing teams.
Yeah, it's really sad to see because I really wanted the Raiders to be good this year. I don't know. I say it every week. I don't know how you get Devonta Adams and get worse. I'll say it every week. I'll keep saying it until they get better, which they won't. But fortunately for them, playing the Jags, who have looked very dysfunctional. I don't know how Trevor Lawrence ended up being the number 1 pick, because he is just not good. I have to go Raiders here. Not because I think that they're better. They should be better.
No,
On paper,
we're hurt, for sure.
paper, they beat them by 100. How they've actually been playing, it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, I feel like I'm also picking the Raiders, but based off the fact that they have Devontae Adams, they have Waller, they have Renfro. One of these games, they're just going to finally remember, like, oh, we're these superstar players. Like, and it's just going to click. And I don't want to be the team that's like, I don't want to pick the Jags and then the Raiders remember, oh, we're a football team. And so they're going to go and just everything clicks and they play like how they were supposed to play and they just explode. And I feel like that's going to happen within the next couple of weeks. I mean, it has to if they want any chance of anything.
Yeah, I mean, they're division's tough. So the best thing they can do, really.
Wow.
I mean, well, division's tough. Their division's underperformed.
They got Mahomes and the Chiefs in that division, so they're not going to win it.
Right, they're not going to win the division, but they do stand a chance to get second with the way that the Chargers and Broncos have been playing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they got 9 weeks to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. I really hope that they can just like click and get to the form that everyone was like hoping them to get. And I really think it will happen within these next couple weeks. And they have a really good chance to do it this week against Jacksonville, who's really struggled.
Yeah, this could be their chance.
All right. I mean, we got Dolphins at the Bears. I think it's going to be a really offensive game.
I think that's fair to say. I mean, other than picking up Bradley Chubb.
No. Is he playing?
I don't know.
I mean, maybe. They got him on Tuesday, but I mean,
they got
the
Christian
Dolphins.
McCaffrey on Thursday.
That's true. But Christian McCaffrey's different. The Dolphins' offense obviously looks like out of this world, and their defense is very fast. The Bears' offense lately has looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Justin Fields has been a very good quarterback over the last 3 weeks. They've put up a lot of points on offense. Their defense is a question mark. So the Dolphins might score like 70, but the Bears might score 30.
Yeah, I can see it happening.
I mean, I think that the Dolphins blow them out still, but I think it's going to be a really high-scoring and fun game.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, Bears. Gotta go Dolphins.
Hey, you're taking a step in the right direction. You got, quote-unquote, some help for Justin Fields.
Some help.
You still got to get a lot more help, but it's a step in the right direction. They show that they're wanting him to succeed.
Yeah, which is good. Want the guy to succeed.
You should probably want your quarterback to succeed.
Probably. Man, I feel like this game already happened.
It did. This is the second time it's happened. Oh.
This is Seahawks at Cardinals. I think last time they played, D-Hop was not back yet.
Right.
So, obviously, that has some play into how that game turned out. If I remember correctly, the Seahawks did win that one.
They did.
Man, this is difficult because
I know exactly who I'm picking.
with D-Hop back, I think that really changes things, which it obviously has for them. They target D-Hop like every other play. Every play that's not a run, Kyler Murray's eyes are immediately on DeAndre Hopkins. Now this is the second game with the new Call of Duty out. I'm just saying. I am going to go Seahawks.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Cardinals. Not really. I have to go Seahawks. They've been playing out of their minds. Pete Carroll is just crazy, and Geno Smith remembered that he wants to be in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, you got teams like the Giants this year and the Jets and the Falcons who are like the surprises, you know? But then you got the Seahawks team, and it actually is so bizarre for me that going into the year, you couldn't pay me. If you would tell me that I would pick the Seahawks at any point in the season, not just multiple games, so just one game this season, I would tell you you're crazy. Go back home. No, stop. You need to go to sleep.
Your portal wizard.
Yeah, I'm not saying
Exactly.
that.
Get
That's
back in
weird.
your
I'm not
portal
saying
wizard.
That. But it's gotten to the point where I can't pick against them. They are very good. Geno Smith, it's awesome, you know?
Yeah.
He was a nobody, and now he's a very good quarterback leading a very good team. So I'm also picking the Seahawks. I just can't pick against them. I mean, like you said, I didn't even think about this, but second game with the new Call of Duty out, and this guaranteed Cardinals loss. But
Sure.
I don't think who it matters who the Seahawks are playing. Obviously, if they're playing the Chiefs or the Bills or a really good team like that, yeah. But they're really good. They beat the 6-1 Giants last week. I mean, who was supposed to be the surprise of the year, which they still are.
Mm-hmm.
But the Seahawks, I think, are way more surprising in my opinion. I thought there was a very, very good chance that they went 0-17. And here they are, winning the NFC South, kind of running away with the NFC, or not NFC South, NFC West, and they're looking like a really good team.
Yeah. So this is awkward. This is Rams.
Why is it awkward?
It's Rams at Buccaneers. I don't see either team winning. I'm not saying that it's gonna be a tie.
I thought you were gonna pick a tie,
man.
and I was like,
Oh man.
If I don't know if the mics picked it up, but me and Sue Ellen, we both like gasped. We're like, oh, he's gonna pick a tie.
That could have been. Oh, I should have done that. That would have been really dramatic.
Dang, man, why did you?
Yeah, the moment's gone.
Yeah, he had to
I
do it
lost
at the moment.
When I say I don't see either team winning, I don't mean that it's going to be a tie. I mean that both teams have played so badly and so underperformed that I don't see either of them winning. I only see one team losing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm going to say the Rams are going to win this game. As much as I don't want to say it because the Rams have not played well, and I'd really like to see them lose every game from here on out. Just be like, haha, you guys traded all of your picks away until 2057 to build what you think is a superstar team right now, and now you're losing only a year after your Super Bowl win. That would have been fantastic for me. It can still happen. They can definitely not make the playoffs, and that'd be so hilarious. I'd love that. But the Buccaneers have just played like absolute garbage.
Yeah.
They're just the worst.
I think whoever loses this game, they're in a little bit of trouble. I mean, obviously the Bucs, if they lose, they're in a little bit better shape because the NFC South has played horrendous this year. But if the Rams lose, they're really in trouble because, I mean, the Seahawks keep winning, the Niners keep winning, and they keep losing. But I think they got Cooper Kupp, who's better than the whole Bucs have played all year. I do think that they'll beat the Bucs, but I don't think that they'll beat the Bucs. You know, like kind of like you said,
Yeah.
no team deserves to win, but I think the Bucs will be bad enough to lose. And they're just Tom Brady should have retired. He would still have his wife, and he would have gone out as the GOAT instead of the washed-up 45-year-old quarterback who divorced his wife because he cares about football more than his family.
Harsh.
I mean, it's
harsh, but it's fact.
I mean, you can't really deny it. If
Yeah.
he would have gone out, if he would have just stayed retired, he'd be gone out, never had a bad season, always have been amazing, GOAT. I mean, obviously, he's still the GOAT. But now he comes back, he loves football more than his family. He got divorced his wife. Now his kids have to go, like, from mom to dad. Divorced his wife, and he's awful. And that's what people are going to remember him for.
Yeah. Was it worth it, Tom Brady? Was it worth it to prove Adam Schefter wrong?
Go out on top.
Probably not.
Go out on top with everything. Go out on the bottom with no family. Tom Brady says, I want that.
Give me that.
Yeah, that's the one.
Whatever.
Yeah, this game's by 50.
Yeah, I don't think it's by 50. I think the Titans they've won like 5 or 6 in a row.
It's true.
They've played really well, but Kansas City is top 3 team in the league.
Yeah. So this is, in case you're not watching, this is Tennessee at Kansas City.
Oh, right.
Ryan Tannehill will be back this game. He'll be playing, not Malik Willis. So, good job, Titans. Derrick Henry coming off his 200-yard game, but that was against the Texans, so there's that. And the Chiefs just are the best, other than the Eagles record-wise, but
And maybe the Bills.
and maybe the Bills. But those are the top 3 teams for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So Kansas City wins this one for me.
Sure.
No questions.
I mean, there's not much else to say. Sunday night in Kansas City, the place is going to be loud.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry can only do so much.
It's true.
Next.
All right. This should be the Monday night
Yeah, it
game.
should be the Monday night game. It's Ravens versus the Saints.
Yeah, so Ravens at Saints. I really was pulling at the beginning of the year. I was like, man, it'd be really cool if the Saints can complete that bird gauntlet. They can beat every bird team because they were all on the schedule.
Yeah.
Beat every bird team. And then as the season went on, I'm like, they stand a chance. Ravens, No, you're not beating the Ravens.
Have they lost to a bird team yet?
I don't think so.
Really? So they still got to play the Eagles.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. They lost to the Cardinals.
You're right. Dang. Well,
No, it was shattered a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Never mind. Never mind, Saints. You're losers.
you suck.
Taking the Ravens.
I mean, whenever these two teams play, they only play every 4 years. But when they do play, it's always a good game, I feel like. Like a couple years ago, came down to a last-second extra point, and Justin Tucker, the GOAT kicker, missed an extra point to lose the game. Never, ever will happen again. Never has happened except for that.
Tucker will never miss an extra point again.
Literally insane. But, I mean, they always have good games. But I think that the Ravens will, win this one. You can say kind of easily. I agree.
Yeah.
The Saints have looked really dysfunctional on offense. Their defense has played all right.
Yeah.
But
I think the difference is with the games that they've played in the past and the games that they're going to play now, it's for the past 100,000 years they've had Drew Brees.
And Sean Payton.
And now they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really going to be the difference here.
I agree. Mark Andrews is questionable for the game, but I think the game's on a Monday night, so it gives him extra time to rest and prepare.
Mm-hmm.
And even if he can't suit up, they have Isaiah Likely, who really
will
showed
likely
out.
do really well.
Yeah, he showed out last week against the Bucks. So we both got the Ravens on that one.
Yeah.
So here's our picks for the week. Man, we did not disagree a lot.
No, well, there weren't a whole bunch of
There wasn't.
crazy games.
What's that thing on the top right?
Interesting.
You guys both picked the ghost.
I guess.
So we disagreed on loading. There we go. We got disagreed on 1, 2, 3. Look at us.
Let's go. 3 of them.
No.
I already got
this one already happened.
right. I already got the.
So we disagreed on 2.
We disagreed on 2 today. That's kind of sad. That's not really gonna get
that is ideal.
percentage of it.
Let's go.
Not
Keep
ideal.
doing that.
Interesting. Well, we'll see what happens. No matter.
I'm very confident about a lot of these games this week.
I am too.
Obviously, Panthers Bengals could go either way.
You don't think it, but I think Chargers Falcons can go either way.
Yeah, I do too. But there's a lot of games this week that are like, come on, like
A little lopsided. This one's wrong.
oh yeah, we both
Definitely did not pick the
we
Colts.
both picked the Patriots.
Ignore that.
Yeah, so we did not pick the Colts. We picked the Patriots, but it's okay. Sue Ellen made a little mistake. He's got a lot to do back there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. You guys wouldn't
That's probably
understand.
when my mom was texting me.
Okay.
Interesting. Anyway, so those are our picks for this week. Obviously, guaranteed to be 100% correct, as always.
Even though we both picked different teams, they're both gonna win.
They're both going to win. That's how it works. Ties exist. Just remember that. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the KNA Football Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on all platforms, including follow us on Instagram, KA_football. And we'll catch you guys next time. See ya. Thank you for watching another episode of KNA Football. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and you can listen to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
If you want to listen to our last video, literally just click our page and go to it. You're already on the page. It's not that hard. Just go find it. Peace.